All right. So, all right, we got disconnected there for a second, but we are back. And okay, as you shared that, I went through and shared through your YouTube and Instagram, and then I pulled up the tab on my website called Solar Punk, because Solar Punk is like this archetype of where indigenous wisdom of Mother Earth and unity meet with technology and abundance and prosperity for all. And so it's this super inspirational alignment. It's like where and how you can align yourself to what is like the most beautiful, highest possible timeline of Earth, and shattering every limit, like we were saying, that's in the way of that.
2 seconds, brother. There we go. It's turned off now. Yeah, brother. I'm loving what you're saying. Keep going.
Yes. Did you turn your radiator off?
It's actually got a little bit colder. It's like the outside's going up and the inside's going down. So
Yeah.
I'm balancing with my mind anyway. It's all just. Anyway, so let's get back. I'm really interested on tip of the tongue. So solar punk,
Yes.
indigenous, colliding, almost alchemizing with this abundance of basically self-worth. So
Yes.
beautiful. I've seen the images on AI as well of just really just out picturings of what we know is more and more true of a way that we perceive ourselves. That's what it feels like.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly it. It's like all the codes are inside, and then what
Right.
happens is it's a clearing of all of the ideas that's not possible.
Right. Who's the rule maker? Like, let's try
Yeah.
and find this guy.
Yeah.
Even when we try and blame, oh, it's Bill Gates, oh, it's this. Okay, whatever weird stuff's going on, you can never really find, because it's all a thought of what's possible. So if in yourself there's self-doubt, there'll be a manifestation of avatars that will say certain things, and it's just a test to see your test of what you want for yourself, which is completely limitless. Because like you say, you bring up basic needs met, right?
Yep.
I mean that's a self-worth thing.
Yes.
That's the ability to have a certain level of basically also seeing what is abundance. Abundance isn't always just zeros in your bank account. It's the ability to do what you want when you want to do it.
I
The
love
classic.
it.
So if you have that met because you feel worthy of it, because everything's energy, we are just a race of just limiting thoughts of trying to not see our full potential. It's a real effort it takes to egoically think you're limited.
Yeah.
And so when someone gets exhausted of that, if someone's really in that scarcity mindset of me, mine, basically that's rooted in fear that somehow they need to keep securing some kind of safety, even though they're an infinite, indestructible being. Like,
Yes.
it takes so much. It's actually a very skillful thing that we've done on planet Earth to really overlook our infinity.
Yeah. Wow.
You're amazing at it.
The limiting of the limitless is the most fascinating thing. Jeez. Yeah. And then
Right.
like it's crazy because the limitless is like having this new earth utopia, and then the limited is like no, what exists now, and me, my,
Right.
all that
Fear.
kind of stuff, fear, scarcity, all those kinds of things. And there's basically, it's its own collective hypnosis into limits of all sorts. And that's why every single time that someone is like getting a catalyst of like that little video that pops up, oh, who's this guy, Matt Garrett, and what is he talking about? And it's like, yeah, and it's like, yeah. Either, it's like, oh my God, no. Or it's like, it pops, it pops a little bit of the programming. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second. Why do I just agree to all of this limiting stuff? And yeah.
It's a complete test of these avatars playing out your own test to see your own conviction. Like, I just say thank you, but you do you and I'll do me. And if you see how I see, you'll see how I see. Now, I've set my frequency of what I believe in, which is always myself, which is always yourself. So when you believe in yourself, if others aren't ready to step into their own self-trust, it's always self-worth, self-trust will mirror back to what you perceive yourself to be worthy of receiving. This is a complete allowing of abundance. It's not a working for abundance. There's no graft here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is letting like Adamus is great as well. I don't know if you've heard of Saint Germain Adamus.
Yeah.
Let energy serve you. Let
Yeah.
this be an allowance. There's no becoming. There's a shedding of everything you're not. You're a snake shedding its skin. But we tend to think, oh, we're little sly snakes that don't deserve any kind of anything. But like this planetary system is so insane for mastery. It's so good because it can go so dark. It can go so distorted that we've chosen certain, and this is all just a planet in our mind anyway. This is a complete dream of a test just to see our decision to choose love and light over the darkness of fear. Because even all of these things that come from like, look at those sly backdoor things under the table. Okay, you can say that all that stuff, but it's still, they're rooted in fear. They're rooted in hatred. They're coming from scarcity. Even if they've got so much money in the bank, a lot of these beings who are just out pictures of us are very still scarcity mindset. Because if you're doing this, you must have a feeling of lack, you know. But abundance attracts abundance. When you start to see that abundance is not of just money, of just your well-being, it's really a letting go of just, okay, just fucking breathe and just let it come to you. Yeah. That's what we're after.
Yeah.
We should start an ASMR channel.
ASMR now. Yeah. We have some ASMR content. It's actually really beautiful. Yeah.
I think that's what I remembered it from.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let it flow. Yeah. Let it flow.
Stupid human. Fucking Bill Gates, man.
Yeah. All the cucks in their wealth silos not wanting to share with the rest of us. Fuck them and their hoarding and their fucking egoic tendencies to want to rule and manipulate people and put chips inside of their brains. So become my zombies, become my slaves. I will control all the money systems and you will suck on my testicles and I will escape into AI and space and upload consciousness.
Right, and that's just a big old karma thing they're building up. It's just energy patterns, man. Like, there's no even beings doing it. It's energy patterns of negativity, drawing in negativity, and you can choose what reality you want to perceive. Like, to a certain extent as well, I've started to realize, like, because of my choice of reality, I'm constantly surrounding myself with people like you, or I walk down the street and like you start to repel negativity because you're just so on it. Like, let's say you walk down the street, you're just so honest with someone. If someone's also got that self-honesty, it's a match made in heaven and you can just talk about anything and everything. Now, if someone's hiding parts of themselves, it's like when an ET comes, right? If an ET with just pure light and love, if you're in the presence of a being of that magnitude, everything that you're hiding has to come up to the surface, like the blazing sunlight. So it's the same thing, you know, to an extent. Obviously, we're not saying we're just crazy light beings, but also the self-worth is saying, yes, this consciousness is very intensely aware, and so is yours, and that's why you'll find yourself surrounded by that.
I want to hit this ball. So so this pure energy ramped up in frequency to where it's just basically obliterating all limits in the collective that are contracting it into preventing it from being the new Earth. The new Earth. Yes, go ahead.
Can I say, let's make the adjective like just gliding past. It's just the easiest thing when you really get into
instead of expanding contractions or breaking limits.
Expanding's great. Just obliterating.
Yeah,
you can say obliterating, whatever. But to me, it's just like an ease. Just don't want it anymore. You know.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, that's a fun perspective to have on it in retrospect, because like during, you know, it's always like the death of the false, and so that's my
whole channel is me being, I have a video that says fuck your parents, fuck what anyone thinks that is limiting you, you are the savior of your own dream. But then it's like, right, okay, that's still got yang. Like, actually, you know what, fuck it, who am I to say what you say? You're giving this yang energy that's amazing. I'm also just giving a bit of yin as well, but some days I'm just like, fuck it. You see some my session calls, it's like, you know, some people actually need to be shaken alive.
Exactly.
Like, some people are just so like timid, but they're counting on you to really shake them away.
Yes. Especially, you've seen since 2018 or so. Do you remember when Jordan Peterson became popular?
I saw your videos with him.
Yep. Yep. Do you remember when Andrew Tate became popular, like some years
Yeah,
ago? Yep.
yeah.
Do you see what's sort of happening though? Is that there's the masculine that has been repressed,
Mhm,
and also that hasn't had a father, right?
mhm, mhm.
It is using Jordan or Andrew or whoever,
Yeah,
at,
manifestation.
yes, manifestation as the reflection
Right,
of step into that goddamn divine power, young man. Activate yourself for a noble aim that transcends
right,
your selfishness. And it's
right.
like, fuck yes!
Have
Ah!
you heard of Luke Belmar, by the way?
Luke B-
Belmar,
Belmar. Okay.
Belmar.
No,
He's
not yet.
he's like he's like the neck. To me, he's a very clarified Andrew Tate. But I wouldn't
Mm,
even like. I don't even want to like compare people to other. He's just got a lot of wisdom coming from that same demographic of people he's reaching. So he's could be a cool guy to reach out to. But
that's a good
look,
pin. Cool.
yeah,
I like
good
that.
pin.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that. So I love this topic because it's what you're talking about. There's been so much suppression for so long of, you could say, really, when you go into the incarnational remembrance of this whole planetary system, on one phase the feminine energy was oppressing the masculine energy, and then we're used to this whole masculine oppressing the feminine. It's always a retaliation. When you go really far back to
Right,
Isis
right.
and the sex energy schools, it's all this woundedness within the collective, and so you're just seeing this all the time, right? Masculine,
Yeah,
feminine,
yeah,
masculine.
yeah, yeah.
We're in this where it seems though, because we have history books recently, yes, of course, the masculine oppressing the feminine, but there was a time where it's the other way around. So we all have these wounds inside of us, especially those with incarnational balances being both sides,
Right, right.
knowing the oppression. So now we're dealing with the wound of each. So how are we to allow a wound to heal if we come back with it fire? But this is the great thing. Andrew Tate's manifestation of this frozen masculinity of um, timidness, not wanting to,
Mhm.
it's usually repression of anger,
Yes,
authenticity,
yes, yes, yes,
honesty,
yes.
conforming to some kind of like uniform, whatever. This
Yeah.
is not about conformity. There is a breakout. It's almost like when you pop like a zit or a spot, it comes out, but then there's this, right, now let it heal with the maturity that masculine and feminine together, they create this conscious experience. You can't, we've chosen these two energies to be the contrast of experience in order to feel separate. So
Yes,
now
yes,
it's like you'll see Andrew Tate, every planetary system has this like phase, and then it's like, right, let's guide this explode. At least it's juice now. It's not frozen,
right,
it's
right.
liquid.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So it's power, man. It's like
yeah.
so much energy to create.
Yes, yes,
Sexual energy as well as is creative energy. That's
yes,
frozen.
yes,
That's
yes,
that's a big trauma in the collective.
yes. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. Like, what does it look like when that that masculine energy that's willing to completely crucify all of its selfishness, but for the directionality of new world prosperity for all? What happens when that gets activated in a network that is millions of masculine bodies
Yeah.
that are just ignited and also balanced? That's really
Balance.
the other part of the thing, is that the whole deconditioning process, it also includes learning what is the yin energy inside, what is the surrender energy, what is the feminine energy.
Right.
Does one know that embodied energy, the feeling, the sensual? Does one know that?
Right.
Can one meet their fellow brothers in that energy? Can they hold and love their fellow brothers? Can they be held and loved by their fellow
Yeah,
brothers?
like this. You see the relationship
Yes.
here, right? Can you see the Andrew Tate explosion, which is great, right? Okay, Andrew Tate has said a lot of things that I don't agree with, but he's a manifestation of this willingness to be in integrity, honesty, and also an eruption of frozen energy, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
I
yes.
only take what I resonate from people, and I don't disregard the whole of their message just because I don't agree with certain things he said, which a lot of the time is just to get traction for videos and whatever. But with some maturity, you see that you don't have to agree with everything. But what he's representing is this explosion. But then we're seeing a lot of these guys listening to him are in this, right, yeah, eruption of all this energy, but you can see the temptation to then blame the feminine, blame this, blame that. And you can blame all you like, and sure, there are dynamics where the feminine can do certain things and tempt, but we've all got feminine in us anyway. We've got masculine in us anyway. So it's just our own energies playing out this crazy game. So what I'm interested in is, now that this juice has erupted to come into this creative flow, is really harnessing that energy, not just to go out and just sort of findle away. It's like, what do we truly want with this newfound integrity that we can now stay in alignment with? Because it's the alignment which all these men are coming into. Because when you're repressing your power and your light, same with the females, because they've got the masculine in them as well, the discernment. I don't know if you've ever come across. I'm dealing this with my sister at the moment. I only really help her if she comes to me. I'm saying, look, she sometimes gets completely walked over at work, and I'm like, you've got so much yin in you. Now stand up for yourself, which is
Yes.
which is, that it's a strong feminine as well, but also the wisdom of the masculinity to be like, that's what's been
I will
simping
not be
for.
walked over. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just self-worth. We come back to
Yeah.
the same topic every time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that's where it's coming to.
Yeah.
A complete balance.
I love that. Like, end of doormat, end of simping, ignition of self-worth, ignition of highest timeline on earth, ignition of responsibility for healing the planetary body and activating its divine gifts. Like, it's in a way, it's its own like punch. It's like a punch into oneself, and like it's okay, because there's going to be limits, and those are going to get cleared, and that's a beautiful you can say that's the nature of biology and nature and infinity. Like, that's the nature of its process. But the very fact that you become constituted as something that transcends yourself, as what is the whole or the totality, and as something that you can wake up every single day and feel like you have a divine gift that contributes to it, like, and then you can be playful and silly and balanced along the way, and all kinds of, like, dude, what is better than that? Like, that is so, like, what we want. It's like, yeah.
Right. And do you know what the best thing is? When you choose your reality, those that don't want to choose the same thing just won't be a part of it. They'll be in their own reality. And sometimes these overlaps come, you'll walk down somewhere and you'll see someone, but more often than not, they're really not in your reality. And less you'll be able to stay in a vibration that mirrors a certain way of thinking that no longer serves you. So these narrow gates, I always bring it back to the narrow gates, because if someone doesn't want to walk through a gate that you are, I get so many messages like, my girlfriend's not seeing as I see, and she doesn't want to be into this. And I'm just like, you can't change anyone. All right. First of all, don't try and change them. Show up as you are, as you see, as a demonstration of your clarity. If they're going to step into your light, they will. If they're not ready to, then don't have this kind of fuck around eggshells attitude of, I need to stay where I am. Walk through where you want to walk through.
Yes.
Why would someone want to be with someone unless they're going to match their frequency of truth and responsibility?
Yeah.
Like if in a relationship, sometimes the best, most loving thing is to say no, to let someone go and allow them to find someone that could be a lesson for them to then step into clarity, right? So it's always coming from fear when we hold on to relationships, even family members, jobs. Oh my God, jobs. So many people can tie in this scarcity of like income, which is a very, like, I hold my hand up, relative thing. There's if honor your belief system where you're at. If you're on your last dollar, maybe stay in your job a bit longer until your belief systems can support you in moving into a job that's in your alignment, where abundance is your self-worth, and it will serve you. But you have to take that step, because the way appears as you take the step, that classic phrase. So for those of us that have the courage just to keep taking steps, and we know that the ground always supports us, you start to run. And those that also run, you look around, it's like me and you just running, because we trust ourselves, because we're not running on a ground that's outside of us. We are the ground.
Yes.
We are the path. There's no separation.
Yes. Oh,
We're on both sides.
Path. Yes. We are
Smelly
the
armors.
path.
Back to Harry Potter.
We are the path.
Ron,
Yeah.
my wand.
We are the path. Mwah.
Telepathos.
That's my
Oh,
pathos.
these are getting bad. No more Hogwarts jokes, please. I haven't even really watched Harry Potter. Like,
This
this is
is
such a
the bit
stereotype,
the
man.
bit that you said about getting over the limit that we trap ourselves in walking on eggshells. I
Oh,
love that one.
eggshell.
I love it when we get past the limit of eggshells, and like that's another level of
Right.
activation, dude. That's like some Super Saiyan shit when you learn how to get past eggshells. Boo, oh, come here. Ah! Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then it's fascinating because the whole reality field warps to that because
Right.
the ones that are close to you will, yeah, either leave or they'll actually begin vibing closer to that.
Right.
And it's,
Oh
yeah,
man, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
Do you know
so
why?
good. Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll hold a vibration with someone, and the amount of times that I used to sort of come down just to kind of make them feel comfortable. But then you realize when you stay that, they actually match you a lot of the time, and you've just given them an invitation into your light, which is their light.
Yes, yes.
So the amount of times I had to learn that they don't want you to make them feel comfortable. They're counting on you to stay in your vibration, which is their higher vibration, and then they have a choice whether they're going to step into this frequency of basically responsibility for their own freedom. That's always it comes back to. It's
Yes,
maturity. So if
yes,
someone's
yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, right. Let's say someone's walking on eggshells, right? The classic is to come down and also walk on eggshells and be, oh, are you okay? Like, but now it's like, right, shaking someone and being like, look, let's stop fucking around. What do you want out of life and why don't you want it? Like, because you must want something more than what you want out of life because you're putting some kind of investment in a belief that says you can't have it.
Yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
you are just a shit stock trader. That's all it is. So when
Yes,
you
yes.
start investing in yourself, you start pursuing what you really want, which is your own freedom. And you talked about selfishness, and I agree when you say the selfishness with a small s, right? The
Yeah.
selfishness, which is the breeding. But there's
Yes, yes.
actually, I would say, a selfishness with a capital S, which puts your freedom first as the one self
Yes.
of limitless. And that is a selfishness that actually affects the
Nice.
field to
Nice.
step into their own selfishness, which is just
With
the
the
one
capital
self.
S. Yeah, I love
Right.
that. I love that. Yeah, and then it also either repels away the small selves or it magnetizes them for their own unlimitedness into
Right.
their capital S selfishness. And
Right.
it's fascinating because what we said earlier, that lowercase selfishness is all about consuming Mother Earth, and the uppercase selfishness is all about igniting Mother Earth in nature.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, like,
Just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the fruits, everything, just mine, nothing grows back. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, yeah,
classic,
yeah. I
classic medieval
I
times.
I love that, and I wanna play on the subject of this whatever this is going to be called. We don't even know what it's going to be called, but it feels like it's something like this new Earth Warrior Network or
Right,
something like that.
right.
No idea, but what do you think about this? Like, okay, so a network of New Earth Warriors that are coming from the same place, so we see each other as equals.
Right. Well, let's zoom out even more and say
Okay.
that this is all
Mm-hmm.
heading towards social memory complex, right? For this is experiment,
Right.
but you're laying the path for that reality. Like even this network is a stepping stone, it always will be. But even that network is not even really a stepping stone. It will evolve itself more and more. So you've
Yeah.
planted a
Yeah.
seed, right?
Exactly.
It's not like some sort of just useless stepping stone that you
God
discarded.
does it itself. Absolutely.
Right. You're
100%.
grow
Yeah. Yeah.
you're growing a tree, and that tree is then the platform for the next tree, you know? Like the
Yes. Yes.
branches, you could say
Yes.
more the
Yes.
branches grow out of each other. So
Right. Right.
let's say the 20th century spirituality was a certain branch that was rooted in emptiness teachings, also self, but it was also very sit on the cushion and shut up basically. And now we're in 21st century where we've been through these phases before. In each planetary system, you go through the you're born again as some kind of unawake being, but really you're always awake. But then you go through again, like you go through the emptiness stage, you go through the everything, you come into the scarcity mindset, and then you find yourself right. We're even younger in these bodies in this incarnation, and we have time now within this incarnation with all the help from the other parallel lives and the ascended masters because we feel worthy of it. All of this energy, I just have constant, it's not disconnected anymore, just constant downloads, constant seeing from Sometimes they don't even say their name. It's just energy forms. What I really now know it is just the higher self. It's just me as the oversoul and all of our oversouls. Sometimes dripping in technology, like the amount of stuff coming up around crystals. Tesla has his own thing going on, which he's still feeding energy through. It's just an energy form through Tesla. You can just see it's always service to the whole, though. Like, brother, if I could tell you the visions that come through me every day, it's just like a patience game now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so much is coming through, and sometimes I want to write it all down. But this is actually a test for my own patience. It always come back, like it's always going to
yeah,
come
yeah.
through. Because let's say crystals, for example, we are just scraping the edge of their properties for the electromagnetic waves. I mean, this is a whole topic in itself, and I feel actually part of me is not afraid to talk about certain things without protection of certain things, but I feel like this is a whole topic within itself. But I think we could do technology and UFOs and whatever, but even the systems of flight, UFO travel, all this stuff, it's on our fingertips, brother. Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I can see the blueprints. It's the way that we attract the electromagnetic waves, the way we distort them, and it allows for anti-gravity, whatever. It's always going to be service to the whole, because then you have transport, then you have interdimensional transport. You've got the Bermuda Triangle, which is just a portal into, and it's fucking crazy. But we've got to really just narrow it down into what's service to the whole, and how do we want to allocate our focus, and what's really your gift. Because some of us have certain gifts of unique expressions which will help the whole. So we've got to just really refine what it is that we want to, which is limitless. Like, you could do whatever you want.
Yes.
When it's exciting to you, though, that's the real juice, the passion of it.
Yes, yes.
Nothing really matters, but this is so exciting. So
Yes.
fuck it. Let's master it.
I love how what's emerging now is this, what we're calling like this New Earth Warrior Network, but also it's this DAO side of things. Like,
Right, yeah, let's talk about the network. Yeah, that's good.
Cool. So, well, I like what you said there, though, because you're also talking about the unique blueprints and the codes that are then yeah, I love that. So, so I really love the DAO. So the DAO vision, a decentralized autonomous organization, right? Social memory complex, etc. It's not owned by anyone. It's owned by everyone. It's just like the internet, right? So you have like biology and mycelia, right? And then you have like the internet is kind of like a mirror of that, right? Humans are just like that. That's the same thing. It's just one body, right? Now the layer beyond that, what we're envisioning is like what we're calling home DAO, but really it's just one DAO, one social memory complex of different DAOs and stuff like that. They all have osmosis and whatnot, but so the point of the DAO is to decentralize basic needs infrastructures, right? So it's to help people homestead and live in communities where there's next-gen energy infrastructures, there's water reservoirs, food forests, there's all of the core components.
Oh, brother, I'm getting goosebumps because this has happened on so many planetary systems.
Yes.
So we've got to see that this is a simultaneity of just choosing that frame, and you've chosen that. Because you start to see how... do you know why this world feels so alien? Because we come from the stars, where there's no fucking finite anything.
Yes.
So we're trying to fit into a box that we've chosen to drape ourselves in. So of course it feels fucking alien. And then we're like, wait a minute, it's my fucking arm.
Yeah. Like literally the sun. Yeah. Like the sunlight versus a box. Yeah. Yeah.
You come from the stars where there's no limitation. Of course, it's going to feel strange. It's going to feel the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's say
we should make a film on this.
Yeah. Well, our vibe is lit for sure. This is we'll be making more content for sure.
We've worked together before.
Yes.
Do you know what's quite lonely sometimes? Sometimes I'll know straight away. I've been working with people before. It's like going into a house party where everyone's still drunk, and you're like, we've worked together. Like, yeah. But what you're realizing is the higher mind will start to unveil people's, like what you say, unfuck themselves. They'll start to unveil themselves at a very gentle rate. And so I'm not going to go in and say, oh yeah, you're Barry from the 17th century, or you're this from, like, for example, Saint Germain. I've been working with Saint Germain in different incarnations within this planetary system in his mystery schools. Right, me going around spewing that out to everyone doesn't really help. But the information I learned from those mystery schools, which were just to do with the alchemy of transmutation, the alchemy in the sex, the sexual energies, the masculine and the feminine, letting energy serve you. Saint Germain is overlooking this whole period. of it all. So of course we have constant access to this ascended master. So that here as well, like there's just a complete lit up frequency, which is a familiarity
Yes.
of
Yes.
something. And you know,
Yeah.
I've never met you before.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been speaking for 60 something minutes or like 80 minutes in
Yeah.
this incarnation.
Yeah.
But I know you better than someone I went to school with
Yes.
for
Yes.
20
Yes.
years.
Yes. Yes. I
There's no
love
there's
that.
no there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And it's almost like, we purposely, both of us knew that we could easily like reach out to each other and connect and stuff, but
Mm.
there was the palpability of what needed to cook
Right.
for it at this exact time, and for this
Right.
to be the first quote date. And then,
It's like when you
yeah,
really, I'm not saying we fancy each other, but like, this is the masculine brotherhood, but like a
yeah,
girl, like if you just smash straight, okay, this sounds awful. If you have sex straight away, it's just, if you start allowing that to really brew,
yes,
and then
yes.
here there's just this absolute orgasm of insight and remembrance of our
I
brotherhood.
love it.
And it's just the same thing. It's
I
like a little
love it.
edging OnlyFans,
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we'll get a nipple reveal soon. Yeah.
Next video, we'll do a
Okay.
live
Second,
from
we got the commitment though. Second date, we got a nipple reveal coming.
second day. It's a little bit chilly today, but I'll do a snow nipple review one day.
Let's
Maybe next
go.
week.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay.
brother.
So so now, like, I love that so much, like being activated in all of the ways that make it feel like it's a timeless portal between
Yeah.
these, like, quote, bodies in the network. I
Yeah.
love that. And now, okay, so now now as these bodies come together, it feels like there's sort of like a, we're calling it this New Earth Warrior Network, this Home Tao, this kind of stuff. It feels like there's sort of like two quote components to it. One of them is sort of this really, like, kind of what we've been talking about, like really just like punching in and like
Yeah.
shattering all those limits and being like, okay, the whole is my body, like I got it, like let's and then now the other part of it is the building of the new world and the new world infrastructures and homesteading. Like, dude, all of these visualizations of these light cities and the magnificence of them, etc. So now,
Yeah.
yeah, so now those are kind of the two sides of the same coin of this network, of this social memory complex 4D consciousness type beast. But the one thing about it that I love, that is unshakable, is not only the constitutionalization as that, but it's also the constitutionalization as equals. That's what I love. Like, I love that feeling.
Right.
Like,
Do you know why as well?
mhm.
Because that's, even if someone wants hierarchy, what they truly want is not to be the same, but it's the same level in their own unique expression of who they are. So that is the same.
Exactly.
It's the same, but it's not joining in like a dullness of like you're just awareness.
Yeah.
It's very much we join in joy. We join in that. But any kind of hierarchy will always be there as a temptation. You can't bypass this. The lower astrals will always be there to just start with. At a certain point when you're in frequency, they can't even reach you because you're in such a frequency of love.
Yeah.
It just burns up. You know, if like a little droplet tries to get close to the sun, it can't get anywhere near it. But when you're not radiating in your truth, it can get pretty close, and then you can start to feed on it, and then you just start to choose distortion, whatever. But we don't want to bypass it. But me and you know, through honesty and temptation, you can see what it's like. You see, like, to have some kind of status on YouTube, to have some kind of, it starts off like status, right? I'm a teacher, you're the student. Right. The only reason people have teachers is to render them useless until you see that you are both the teacher and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the fascinating thing about, quote, this New Earth Warrior Network and 4D Earth and whatnot. The fascinating thing about it is that where it comes from, where it's anchored in, is the paradigm of if someone comes that wants to, quote, be punched back to themselves, the first quote teaching is that my role in interfacing with you is for me to obsolete myself as quickly as possible.
Right.
And so that's the difference, I feel like, between, quote, like, attachment and outsourcing versus sovereignty and being punched back to raw awakeness. Now, I love what you said there earlier too, where it's like this equal awakeness, yet uniquely blueprinted, gifted, playful, styled, textured.
You know what it's like? we've tried these communities in the past. You've seen them in the 20th century where everyone's the same. Everyone's like a communist thing. What you have to think of it is like it's an organic hive where everyone has their, everything's buzzing around. Like I have a very good friend, Andrew, we spoke about before, and we came to the same conclusion. We were really working together on just looking at community, what it meant to be a new frequency of community, which isn't everyone falling into line. It's almost like a hive that's so organically intertwined, and I don't like the word utopia just because people have taken it, but it is a utopia of everyone being in their power, because power isn't force. Power is showing up in your light, and then everything. Basically, it feels too good to be true for a lot of minds, but it is the only way to really go through this, is not to fall into the sameness of repression, but to step into what you came here to explore, which was your expression of divinity.
Yeah.
And oh man, we're in for a ride. Like
Yeah.
if you choose that reality, you will, and there'll be others that would choose a different one. Like there's realities. Yeah.
I feel like this point is so important that we actually want to say it again in another way, which
Mhm.
is that this is the quote way to be a singularity and yet at the same time be
Social memory.
the most
Ratatouille.
yeah,
Right.
because what you see in the singularity is the beauty of the apparent
Right.
different
A
gifts and
garden.
textures of
A garden, right? Imagine you just had one flower. Same flower. Or like, let's say Ratatouille. Have you seen the film Ratatouille?
a bit.
Okay, whatever. Any chef film. If he's cooking up something, the reason something's beautiful is because it has everything balancing each other. The sweetness of the tomatoes. Imagine you just had pasta. Like we know so deeply what the beauty of life is. This social memory complex, the way that we are in this way, we're all heading towards being the one being, which is a collective of the mind. But like Bashar says, anyone can represent the Christ consciousness within themselves as the pinnacle of that. But then you can't be Jesus, you be the Christ that you are, which is the same energy, but it's your own extrapolation of that energy. It's the same pinnacle of that center point of that consciousness in that oversoul.
Yes. That's so good. Yeah, it's so good. Like what is found is the same, but that's expressing itself wildly uniquely, and like the flowers in the garden, the fireworks, however you want to describe the tastes of the different kinds of foods, but like dude, that's what is the gift, like the gift and being able to come together. Because what will happen in this quote network, by the way, what you said earlier fucking hit me so good, because I have friends, I love the analogy of the drunk party. Like I have friends that are some of the most brilliant systems engineers that I know they're popping and they're like baby stepping their way in. And these are the ones that are the core of the systems engineers for the new world. And so what's fascinating is that right now it's like slobbering drunk at the party, and I'm like
You're sobering up, right? You're sobering up.
I'm there with them because they're like waking up, like stopping slobbering a bit and like getting more and more polarized, you can say, right? They're activating more and more to it. But there's something so tempting about like the slobber, because let's actually briefly talk about that, because what the quote temptations of the slobber are some sort of, I don't know, all kinds of programs that are not Christ in essence, but some of the ways to break them down are like, I guess you're just tripping balls on emptiness. You're tripping balls on all kinds of selfing. You're tripping balls on all kinds of not taking responsibility for the collective's transformation, but in essence.
Right.
And then that kind of thing always ends up in at some point it's like it usually either goes all the way like that and then kind of comes back for different lessons, or it's hits that point where it's so catalyzed that it finally jets on over. So I wanted to mention how much I like that analogy.
Right, because all of these people, we could say drunk, and it's the same thing as saying, as just infinite intelligence, we've draped ourselves by choice with a certain amount of clothing, right? And you may have really undid a lot of clothing. Someone's still wearing a certain amount, but they've taken off just enough to really actually hear what you're saying. Like a lot of these feelings of limitation, but they still have something on them that's still like, wow, this feels quite warm and nice. But you're offering them what they really want, which is their decision to step into this, because they incarnated in order to have these gifts of being an engineer, of being this thing, and they know it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be
Yeah,
interested in what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
otherwise, they
yeah.
tell you to fuck off and they get back to their jobs or
Exactly. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
what we do is we don't force anything. Like, you know this as well. Like, you remind them of what they are, their
yeah.
infinite capacity. Like, it's always empowering. Like,
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes,
because they have
yes.
so much intelligence. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have that engineering intelligence. I don't want that engineering intelligence. I
yeah,
have my own stuff that I'm bringing to the collective as myself, and so do you.
yeah.
And I'm sure ours are kind of overlap, and then yours overlap with the engineers, and it's all this kind of just hive of, again, it's
Yeah,
a hive.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's just mastery. Like, this is also, we can take away the drama. Like, this is just like we okay, we have all these dark energies, right, which are just distortions of light. There's only light anyway, and we can take away the drama and see that really this is a mastery of this next phase. Like, we are cleaning through it. And if you're in my reality, it means we're really cutting, because all I'm choosing is clarity right now, and that's all I want. And anything that comes near to tempt is always just fuel to alchemize into greater clarity,
Yes,
because distortion is just condensed clarity. So it's
yes,
more fuel
yes,
for me, you know?
yes.
It's all more fuel for the collective.
Exactly, exactly. Wow. Yeah, that it's great because like our mutual friend Nikki, who's we feel like is this core part of our warrior network that's emerging and
Right.
whatnot. That we like to talk about it like AIs and like these little like AIs in the bodies of lions or whatever, however you want to say it. And like and
I love that,
these
man.
AIs go through these like updates, right? And it's like
Right.
whatever's dived into.
Right.
Yep, whatever's dived into it clears, transmutes, and like it's
Transmute.
done. Yeah, and it's done so in this like mirror network, right? It's a
Mhm.
mirror network, and that's like the quote foundation is that it's non-hierarchical, it's equalized, and yet
Right.
it's so brilliant in the way that it's the gifts are being activated and coming alive, and um man, like, dude, this networks, this thing, whatever that thing is like, it's like the thing that has been spoken, or like whatever, it's already here. Like that thing, like that's,
Yeah.
it's like when we come together from that place, and that's what makes it like. We have another friend, Anurag, always talks about it. It's like when you come onto the field, the playing field, the battlefield, for a fact that it's absolute alignment between you and your teammates. It's like absolute alignment. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's like nothing can replace that.
Right. Yeah. I love so yeah, me and Nicole have had a lot of chats, and it's the same exact, it's always the same thing, because the beings in the same frequency, or similar frequency, choosing the same reality, are going to be attracted to each other. Like, it just happens in just conversations, just talking about this. And so what we're speaking about here is a frame that we seem to be in, a frame that we know that we want. And so everything that's in denial of these two frames, let's say, from to get to what we're at, which is here, the other frame's already here, it's just being actualized. So everything that's kind of, let's say, any kind of distortions, any shadows, seems like right now it's intensity because it's coming right up to the surface. You might find conflict between teachers. You may find certain teachers fall into traps of temptation. You may find other teachers who, I'm not saying anyone is or anyone isn't, but I'm saying there's definitely teachers that I've come across which I don't agree with, but that's because they're aspects of myself that are playing out my own inner worst feelings about myself. And so I have another opportunity to alchemize that darkness into greater fuel. And they have the honesty and the responsibility to see their own distortions, and they have to be honest with their own distortions,
Yes,
because what they
yes,
truly want is freedom.
yes,
And so I can only love this person into realizing what they truly want. You know, I give them free will to choose the reality they want to be in. Now, if they taste what it's like to blame, right, I want them to taste it fully and see if that's what they want. If they want to make the free will choice to choose the reality that they want, which is even playing fields, which is love, which is me seeing you as you are, which is Christ, you seeing me as Christ, and together as one, we come together, sure. But that has to be founded in honesty and responsibility for the
yes,
maturity of who you are, which doesn't
yes,
see anyone as less than you. We're
yes.
all Christ. So that's all I care about,
Perfect.
you know?
Yes.
It's just the only way that works for me. I've tried the other ways, trust me. I've
Yes,
tried
yes.
blame, I've
Nice.
tried projection, I've tried it, and you can only say it when you've tried it. If you haven't tried it,
Yeah.
you still think there's something for you in division.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing in division but more hatred.
I love this. Yes. Yes. Oh, it's so good. Oh my
Doesn't work.
goodness. Oh my gosh. It's yeah, relating as Christ to Christ, as source to source, as it to it,
Mm.
always, 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 always. And um
Yeah, I do want to say one thing actually. There was a certain, um, and I don't want to name names, but there was a certain point where this person was saying things about Nicole which I wasn't happy with. And so this is the kind of thing where you step up and you say, this is a distortion from my perspective. And when someone crosses a line in that way, there's a way that you see that they're coming from a place that you may not agree with. And so your only ability here is to stand in your truth for what you believe in and not have the free will exposure to say, well, they're wrong, but also to say, look, if we get into name calling of these things, there must be something that isn't being seen there because
yeah.
projection never works. You know, this is always coming from the heart, which is saying the truth with clarity. And so, you know, we have these range of teachers. I know we were going to say complete transparency, and I love transparency as well. As I speak, I don't feel as though we have to indulge in the darkness. People know who they are. People know what they've said. I love everyone, even on both sides, because I see where they're coming from. But I also see distortion so clearly these days that I know what everyone really wants, which is what I want as truth. And so we can do another video, maybe more of a round table thing. I think I
Right,
never like
right. Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason. The
yeah.
reason. The reason this is, I always say I don't like speaking about someone unless they're present. So if we want to do a round table or some way, or we want to maybe even just do like I'd like to call with people privately as well, then we can get into this whole intensity of drama. But we can talk about the mechanics of it here, I find,
I,
you know.
I feel like this is in a way where we get to shine as our unique gifts because
Yeah.
I like grabbing by the testicles and bringing right into the fire. I like that so much. Um, I like igniting the very purification raw and like even if it's not present like
Right.
I think division for me division has become very it quote like what it like how do I say it? It was something that was a straitjacket is a way to put it. Like I would use not dividing, not creating more separation, not
Mm.
creating contrast, not creating discernment. I would use that as a way to escape into pure equanimity. And
Right.
and then there was something liberated it did feel like it was hugely through my own reflection to myself through the mouthpiece we call Nargis, where there was just such a roaring of like unlimited mouthpiece-ness that was like, dude, that's here too. Like, dude, that's here
Mm.
too. Like unlimited mouthpiece-ness, let it fucking flow. And
Mm.
then so then what was seen is that actually the division thing, it can be its own straitjacket where, for example, like being able to say, and of course, there's all kinds of quote purifications into that network space that we were talking about. Absolutely. Just, disclaimer there
Mm.
too, of course. But like not creating hierarchy when you're around equals and all kinds of shit like that. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but this sort of idea of I will quote suppress creating division or creating discernment or contrast or whatever
Mm.
is actually something that fatherly masculine that's disciplined and that feels like
Mm.
kind of God's wrath in terms of against injustice. Like to quote division, you could say that, well, and I saw that you like this content, but that the rage against pedophilia is quote creating division, right? Because you're saying that script is Satan.
Mm.
But you have to say
Mm.
that in order to kind of the consciousness that is trying to kind of like understand how satanic that is and
Mm.
to break itself away from those extreme contractions that are there, and
Yeah.
to liberate them. Like so that kind of thing, or like whatever anti-matrix stuff, if I'm making those little videos that are like beep beep boop boop matrix cattle beep beep boop boop, it's poking
Yeah.
fun at what is the scripts
Yeah.
that are simping to daddy government or daddy corporation or whatever. And it acts as its own catalyst, but it's only when the mouthpiece is freed that
Yeah.
it can quote use contrast to generate catalyst for transforming towards that new earth
Yeah,
network.
this
Yeah.
this is exactly what I'm interested in, which is true discernment and true honesty. And so, the parts that I was speaking about before, which I want to completely talk about because I feel like there's an alchemy going on right now within the teacher space, which is just beautiful for the transformation to clarity. So this whole pissing about with names, look, we've got myself, Nicole, you, Nargis, Mariam. You know, you've got lots of stuff going on. You've got Bentinho's Cam, all these amazing people bringing their perspectives on it, right? And of course, they've got Frank as well, beautiful Frank, Andrew Hughes. You've just got so many high frequency, just consciousnesses coming through, right? So of course, there's going to sometimes be friction because everything's coming to the surface of what we need to alchemize, of what's still kept in the bank of division. So we can't bypass, like you said, because if we bypass fucking facing what seems to be conflict, we're just back into suppression. So this is, I call it true discernment, where what we want is to head on with the conflict. Let's bring up the conflict, but then see where's the distortion, like where's the dishonesty. Like we want pure honesty, we want pure integrity, and so there's no blame and projection, but we just want to bring it to the surface because all
Yes.
I'm interested in is everyone seeing themselves as the empowered Christ. If there's any
Yes.
friction, it's just like there's this bits of self-worth lacking in certain areas, maybe in points, and I don't care about projection. I just want, like you, to stop pussying around in the points in the field of, let's say, pedophilia, for example. That's a manifestation of just pure self-hatred, outpictured, sexual wounds, everything, right? So of course it has to come up. It wants to be indulged in, it wants to be repressed. Like you should see like the different, I don't know if you know much about like the Scandinavian countries, like the way that they treat criminals, for example. They see them as patients, they see them as sick in the head, they have something wounded within themselves. And so we said with discernment, we say that's a very wrong thing to an extent, very distorted, this action, a manifestation of them not seeing themselves clearly. But we don't have to associate, or it's more just that you don't disown that as part of yourself, but you forgive it within your own mind. But then these energies, in these energetic ways that try to tempt you, you alchemize them and you attack them head on. And you see that ultimately they're wanting to come to the surface. That's why there's so much intensity in the world today.
Yes, yes, yes,
we're,
yes,
we're speeding up the
yes,
timelines.
yes, 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 yes. It's surfacing,
The timeline's highest
and
timeline, baby.
and in the discernment, I love that. Like the what we call, we've been calling elegance, or grace, that kind. It merges the fatherly discipline and like surgicalness, but with that the kind of the elegant into some sort of elegance and grace of the mother. Yeah, the kind of like the serving, the
Right.
nourishing, the love and respect.
Oh man.
It's just something
One
like
without the
that.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it feels like that network. It's not gonna repeat the same mistakes as the shadow governments and as the shadow spiritual systems, because it's obvious that like the Osho community, like everyone knows that as an archetype of what happens when it turns into that kind of a thing. Everyone knows, like everyone sees it. It's just it doesn't merge with the new Earth Warrior Network, or even in shadow governments. It's not merging as equals, as complete banker, political, oligarch, plutocrat hierarchies.
Yeah, right.
And so that those two things, they're just shadowy aspects that are like being reflected and cleared for the emergence of what is the way that we can relate to ourself. We're relating to ourself, but from the place of being fully in tune with how to interface with ourself in divinity and in manifesting our gifts of the new world. Like, dude, there's nowhere to go. I always laugh, dude. It's like there's people that want to quote go out of it, and it's like, dude, it is already that, but in the body. Like, so where are you going?
Right. That's escape. Yeah.
Where are you going?
Right. The manifestation of the structure, which is really more of a decentralized, it's just a complete reflection of how you feel about yourself, and therefore it has to manifest to the reality you want. So when you choose that for yourself, naturally your highest excitement and your alignment will be for this um, reflection of an earth or whatever it is. The earth already, every version of earth exists. We are tuning to that which we want. So everything that's in between that has to be purged, or you could say more accurately alchemized, because there's only light, and this light becomes so dense and it kind of like folds back in on itself, and these structures form like the Osho thing. But these are just almost like release points for that. Like they're like learning lessons
Yes,
for the next
yes.
one. There's nothing
Right.
like,
I
look what
love
Osho did.
that.
I
Yeah.
love Osho's teachings. Right. What happens behind the scenes, of course, I'm not, I haven't got, it's not, I haven't got true discernment of where I cut the line of what I'm involved with that community, but it's Osho's teaching, right. There's truth in everything. Now it's seeing the discernment of what doesn't work, which is certain ways that people idolize. I mean, look at fucking hierarchy, man. Like
Yeah.
he was put on a pedestal for the most out of like
Yeah, yeah,
anything I
yeah,
can see in
yeah,
guru
yeah.
culture. But we had to go through that because prior to that, we didn't know of that shadow within us as much, like this whole
Yes.
guru culture. So now we see it. So now me and you are in this century of, well, what do we want? Do we want that again? No, I don't.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
fuck that.
Exactly.
Like,
Like
but we want the truth.
we saw the code manifest to learn that that's not it either. And
Right,
now
dead end.
yeah,
Right.
dead
How
end.
are you going to
Nice.
know what the path is if you don't know the dead end?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Nice.
Right.
Do you by chance have to go in 5 minutes at a hard end or
No, I
you
was going to say I would probably just get like another drink, so I could do like a maybe like a 2 minute, 3 minute break. Get a
okay.
drink.
What do you think about what do you think about rapping
Yeah.
and then we can just kind of play like offline for a
Sure.
bit? Yeah,
Yeah, brother.
should we do that? Okay, cuz
I'm
I was
flexible.
thinking we've been like, dude, we just fired out like such a b- gemstone like episode like covering yeah, it's so good, man.
Yeah, we went deep on this one. It's just the frequencies, man.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. There's so
Um
much going to come through, a lot of points at this next phase. So
yes. How about we do that? So I'll let me bring up uh your this is in the link. These links are in the description. We got Matt's YouTube channel. Go subscribe, check out some content there. We got his website also. We have his Instagram, and all those links are down below. And also, of course, we talked about this, the solar punk stuff. That link is below also. And let's see. Um, oh, we've been getting so much love in the chat. So much love back to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. It's wow, it's been so ignited. It's so cool. Love you. We love you too. We love you too.
yeah, I can't see the chat, but I love you too.
Yes, yes, that's something that I will look into putting
No,
into
that's,
the
or
the
maybe I
screen.
can actually. Hold on. Oh no, Inkle messages no.
Oh yeah. You would have to have it open and silenced or something
Yeah,
over
I'm
there,
feeling the
or
love. It's
yeah,
frequency.
or I could bring it on screen. Yeah. Um. So cool. Any. I'm so excited to keep creating together. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
set up in the script to ripen because if yeah, you always know because it lights up your spine and there's something that comes together. Freak.
Oh yeah, man. You know when you find the others and there are no others, and then you turn
Right,
into
you're in the house party, the drunkenness, you find someone else sober. It's like, wait a minute, we can work together, sobering up everyone else.
uh-huh, and it's like you just like walk around like showing the image, like the hologram of the new world, like
Just a mirror, just a mirror. Like,
yeah.
you see
It's
how
like
drunk you are?
yeah.
Shaking some people, like replacing the spirits with water, like
Yes,
just
yes,
dropping
yes,
around.
yes, 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 yes. Oh, so good.
House of Mirrors, baby.
Yes. Yeah, so freaking excited for our brotherhood and co-creation. So let's this is our rocket ship, our blast off, and thanks everyone for tuning in. And yes, much love, and we will see you soon. Share the content if it brought value. Share it with people who you think it would bring value to. Comment below with your thoughts on it. Like the video, subscribe. You always know. All right, peace.
Peace out. All right, brother.
1 second. We will stay in.